Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing good. I'm having a pretty good day, not too bad. Just a sort of a strange day. Doug was going to go to town yesterday and the car slid off our driveway. So it was no big deal. He thought, well, he'll wait and use the tractor in the morning when it was not as cold out and whatever. But then the tractor wouldn't start, and then he run the truck off the side of the road on our driveway. He thought he had enough room to get by. It was the weirdest thing too because we've been members of, well, he has been a member of AAA since 1959. He's had roadside service that long. And his mother got it for him when he was a kid. There was some kind of insurance involved too, like you could get like family insurance and different insurances through their company. Well, anyway, so he's actually what they call a gold member. Well, here's the weird thing. About 4 years ago, the same tow truck driver that we called today, um, a company north of us, had come down and had delivered a car to our yard. And the driver dang near took out a $20,000 truck and the side of our shop. So Doug's out there and he used a few choice words on the dude and said, learn how to do your job. Learn how to do your effing job or whatever. But he was freaked. I mean, in his defense, it was pretty surprising. He had to yell. He started yelling. That's what it was. And I heard it. It wasn't really overly vulgar or anything. It was just more out of shock. And the guy didn't apologize or anything. He actually got a little snotty, which pissed Doug off. Well, this driver went back and told the owner of the tow truck service, evidently, that Doug was the problem. So it was about, 2 years ago on Christmas Day, we called to get a tow truck. He had, I think, a flat tire on a curve right by our house. And this same tow truck service lied and said that all their trucks were over in like Ohio or some weird thing like that, but didn't call to let Doug know. And the cop had actually come along and told him that he's got to get his truck off the road. Well, it was as far as he could go over to the side of this little road we live on. So it's pretty treacherous out here in the winter. So, and then another time he was, let's see now, I don't think it was I don't know if it was a starter or what it was. It was something that went out on one of his vehicles, and he was on his way to another town about 20 miles away and called AAA, and they were going to come, and they didn't show up. And that was all because of this one guy that we had done business with for decades and never had a problem until his driver almost took out the side of our shop. So, anyway, so today he had called to get some service, and the person who answered the phone, because you have to call AAA down in the cities, called up and was going to use this tow truck service, and they never showed up. So Doug gave him a call and said, "Look, this is what happened, and you don't deserve to have AAA service through your shop." And he filed a complaint with the company, with AAA, and I guess another truck is supposed to be showing up from somewhere. I don't know, but so we've been waiting on that. But yeah, just kind of weird. But really, it wasn't anything that he actually did, and he wasn't in the fault. you know. If the driver had just said, well, I'm sorry, sir, I'm going to have to do a little better next time, or anything like that, at that point would have fixed the whole situation. But the guy wasn't very diplomatic, or just didn't care. One of the two, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it was weird. So that's what's going on around here today. Yeah. I'm listening to oh a podcast from the Huberman Lab. Um, Andrew Huberman, neuroscientist on um, process and healing from grief. And they say, like denial is the first stage, and, whatever different stages that you go through. And he said all them stages, all credit to when the book was written, and he cited the woman's work that did that. But they know more about it now, and that isn't quite the way it goes, and especially for everybody, different people grieve differently. And then he was talking about how they would give people with grief and sadness, and I had this happen to me, trying to give me antidepressants when I wasn't depressed, because sadness and depression are two different emotions. You know, they can kind of run into each other. I know the lines can blur. Like if you have sadness, it can become depression. And if you're depressed, I'm sure you could become sad. But like if you have a loss of a loved one or something, that's a grief. That is a sadness. That isn't depression. Although, like I say, from my opinion, it can lead to depression. I've been through the grieving process so many times, I can't really say I'm an expert at it, but I can tell you that the sadness is lingering and it doesn't go away. They say that things like that get better, and or what's the, like, it gets better with time or something, or easier with time. I'm not so sure about that, but in fact, like maybe the grief of having like a failed relationship where it really maybe wasn't the best thing in the world. I'm rolling cigarettes too, by the way, so I'm looking down. But so maybe it wasn't like the best relationship in the world, and that can feel like a death, anytime we lose even like a friend or a family member, or have like distance ourselves from people. To me, it's like a mini death. It's a grieving process. So, and yeah, there's things that we can do to elevate our mood and kind of, accept what's going on. But that's something too. Like when I first got with Doug, I made sure, don't sit here and demean your ex in front of me ever. Um, if I'm talking about what happened and stuff, it isn't on the level of me trying to throw shade on somebody or something like that, because when I was with the father of my children, that man meant everything to me. My family was my whole life, and the fun times that we did have, and even first meeting, all of it, I wouldn't trade it. And I wouldn't want Doug to sit there and demean his ex-wife in front of me, or dirty what he thought was there, even if it wasn't, and even if that person turned out to be something that we later found out wasn't exactly who they said they were. um doesn't take away from the good times that we had, you know. So that I don't know. So that's what's on my mind today. It's like and you know too, and I know like narcissists will get stuck in their grief and they'll use it for for a tool of a poor me situation, you know. And it's not that they're not allowed to grieve, it's that they're not wanting to grieve in a healthy way. It's something like they don't want to let go of the grief because they're comfortable in it, because it gives them a front part in the stage of pain, like they're the number one hero of pain, or do you see what I mean? Like they can like they're the star of the show when pain comes, you know, that type of thing. Or their pain is like worse than yours, no matter what. You know, that is a narcissistic attitude. I cut my hair last night a little bit, just straight across on the bottom a few inches, so because it was getting really raggedy. So yeah, Doug's like, how do you do that? And oh, I've done it a lot actually. Cut my own hair. I usually have, like, if especially my youngest son is so good at it, but I'm pretty good. I did study to be a beautician, and then found out that it was less hours to get into nursing and take my Red Cross courses to start than it was to actually. And then, well, this is what turned me off. I started reading into the skin diseases and follicle diseases and stuff that people can get. And I just decided I didn't want to be working with people's hair after that. Although I did end up combing people's hair in the end anyway, but and doing a lot like cutting it or permanents. I used to do a lot of perms for people, you know, stuff like that. Not nothing like to make a living out of it. It was just like doing it for a friend or my adopted mom. I used to do hers all the time. And that was kind of fun because there's these little tiny curlers. And when I was a kid, she used to like just rip my hair out of my head. I'm not kidding. It was freaking brutal. And one time, and so you know the scope of this story, but one time my friend Patty was staying over, and my mom was just about ripping her hair out of her head, and this kid was crying, and I told her, I said, yeah, because she grew up with a sister and a mother and a brother, but I mean, the mother knew how to comb her children's hair. I guess is what I'm getting at, but put a lot of thought into it. Okay, but anyway, so when it was time for me to do a permanent on her, and I could, I took this little curler and I got it as tight as I possibly could and clamped that thing shut. And she was like freaking screaming. I didn't get her skin and I didn't pull her hair out, but it was just enough to do to her. Like she used to put these metal curlers in my hair and make me sleep in them. And I have wavy hair anyway. I didn't need all to, I guess she wanted me to have some kind of hairstyle that looked more like hers, you know. But so yeah, I don't let people get away with things. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that vengeance? Well, I would call it taking things into my own hands, but so to speak. And it really wasn't intentional, at least, really not the first one. I was just trying to get the hairs in there tight because working with short hair is hard to do. So once you get the first thing, part of it rolled around the little curler, um, then you roll it up and clamp it, you know. But she used to put these metal curlers in my hair, and they had these like picks, and you pick them in there, and then they'd put like a scarf on. You had to try and sleep like that at night with these things poking in your head, you know. So anyway, yeah, anyway. Yeah, but just on grief, I was just thinking how narcissists actually deal with grief, excuse me one moment, versus how the rest of us kind of process it and work through it and don't torture other people because of it, you know, those types of like normal things in life. And how I've been trying to get people like Doug to work through his grief and accept it and move on, because that's really like 2 years ago now, or a little over a year and a half. It's like a year and 9 months. Well, anyway, with all within the last couple years, within a year, my uh, cat died, my horse died, and then my dog died. You know, that's a lot of grief, you know, all at once. And it was, believe me. I had my cat and my horse for over 20 years. So, yeah, those were toughies. And my dog was the most faithful little thing. So, yeah, it was rough. I had her, she was 12. Well, almost, no, she was 13 when she died. And she had had an operation and different things. So, but yeah, dealing with it, you know. So I think we're going to get interrupted, but we'll work through it. You know, it sounds like it. Maybe not. Yeah, definitely. I'm making a video. Want to say hi? I'm making a video. Want to say hi? I'm making a video. Want to say hi, YouTube? Hi. They're over here.
Can you see me here?
No.
Okay.
Let me. Well, wait.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
They like to say hi. Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
That's Doug, everybody. Doug waiting for the tow truck that didn't show up.
Yeah, we had a company. We're back.
Yeah. So anyway, I got a couple cigarettes rolled if you want some. I don't think he heard me. So anyway, yeah. Just dealing with grief different than other people is kind of fascinating to me, how all of us do go through it differently, you know? Because like they were saying, like the what was like the 5 stages of grief, like was saying like denial's the first one, then I can't remember, but I think and then finally is acceptance. I don't know if that one has ever worked for me. I don't really accept the grief on face value. Like, so these are the stages we're supposed to go through with these things. But I don't see the acceptance part, because I don't accept like death. I don't accept it. Like it doesn't seem natural to me. So watching things die and decay and things like that, it just, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, because our spirits aren't born to die, it just seems unnatural. That's what I'm getting at. like ingrained in us, like an innate part of us, like you just know you're forever. Do you feel like that? I hope you do, because I'd like to see you on the other side, you know, or wherever the heck we go, right? But I do believe that this flesh is a learning tool for the fallen so they can grow out of their sickness. That's what I really think. I think there's some of us here that are here like physicians. And not only do we heal ourselves, but we heal other people too. So, yeah. So, anyway, yeah. He's trying to call again and try and get a tow truck out here. Crazy. Wish us luck because we're stuck out in the country. Terrible. But anyway, it'll be okay. I mean, we're okay. We have a phone, so that's. Wouldn't that be wild if, like, we called, like, um, cab or something because they have, like, country cab or whatever, and the cab came out and slid off our road, too? That'd be crazy. But it's possible. Yeah. Our, our, our road itself, the tunnel road, to our driveway is only wide enough to actually drive like two cars down. There's no shoulder. There's either woods or water. That's the choices, or driveways. So, yeah. And the same where Doug just sort of slid into a snowbank with the Mustang, but going uphill, and it's got bald tires. We do have other tires, but he it's been so cold out, and the truck, he just went to go past where the Mustang was and ended up in just kind of a snowbank, but it's just stuck. I don't know. It's like weird. It's stuck really weird. It's like it pulled itself over into the snowbank, is what it looked like. And that's probably what happened because of it's icy and slippery out there. So, yeah. He's trying to get another tow truck out here. I mean, he pays for the service and has all this time. If you stop paying on your membership, you go back to like square one, if you know what I mean. So the benefits that he's built himself up to has been lifelong. Let's see. Seriously, it would be, let's see, 60 some years since 59. Wow, I can't figure it right now. It's too much commotion, but you know what I'm saying, decades. So, oh, I wonder when they're going to be available. I guess, wow. guess he might have to find another roadside service. Anyway, something will happen to work out for the benefit, but it's pretty crazy. I guess somebody else declined our service too. I wonder why. Declined us service, rather. Hmm. They must be friends. I'm serious. Really, it wasn't even um um what, like, out of the um scope of having our shop run into, because we did have a what was it? It was can't remember what, this guy was either delivering or picking up something, but he went to turn the corner in our backyard around the back side of the dark side of the moon, the back side of the shop, and he ripped the corner off our shop. So it really isn't out of the question for Doug to have gotten upset when it happened, or just about happened again. The guy that did it that time, he was freaked. He wrecked a Volkswagen hood and ripped the corner off the shop, and he made Doug a handmade belt with a picture of our hot rod on there, with Doug's name on there and stuff, and custom made belt, and paid for the hood just to compensate for what he did without getting any lawsuits or anything. But when it happened, um, he was so nice about it to begin with, and apologizing profusely, that there was no upsets with the whole thing anyway, you know. So, yeah. So, yeah, I was just telling YouTube when that other guy ripped the corner in the shop with a big machine. He was nice about it. These people don't care what they do, or almost did. But yeah, so anyway, it wasn't, like I said, out of the line of reasoning that he would think that his shop was going to get ripped open again by a big truck, you know, or by the one that we were having delivered, which was a 55 Ford step-side pickup, low ride, airbags, um, complete rebuilt engine, running gear, whole smear. I could go on. Tonneau. I mean, it was a phenomenal truck. So, um, yeah, getting a little upset about somebody not knowing how to back into a shop and deliver a vehicle is a pretty serious thing. So we're getting smeared here because of somebody else's negligence, you know. And I saw it. It was really close, very close, and extremely. So anyway, I was pretty freaked out when it really did happen. Like I said, that little guy was so apologetic. Except he did bring his wife over, and they raised birds, and she didn't really come over here to meet me, but she came over here to try and give me a bird named Baby. And I was really tempted too, because it was a cockatoo, and I've always wanted one, but it had some kind of genetic problem where it really would never grow its feathers. It wasn't a molting thing, it was a skin disease. And it's like, no, I don't need a sick animal to take care of. And at that time, I had just started getting really sick with my allergies and that. And I physically didn't want to take on the care of a bird because you have to clean or you should clean their cage every single day. And I'm not really big on animals in cages, so it wouldn't be delightful for me. If I had never had any kids, I might consider getting a cockatoo or something like that, or some kind of parrot. Well, just thought I'd shoot the breeze with you a little bit and tell you what's going on around here today. I don't know. I'll let you know tomorrow if anything good happened. So now, anyway, with the tractor, the starter might be stuck on it. And we just had that replaced, which is a great big deal, 2 years ago. So, anyway, well, thank you for joining me. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.